How we doing? This is Jason Fulton of Craftsman Remodeling and Carpentry LLC out of Guilford, Connecticut. Today we're going to be doing a new vanity light installation, and the most important thing is planning it all out. You have the switch here. Before you start working on electrical, this remodel was done a long time ago, but finally got the vanity lights. I'm just shutting off the switch here, but if you're doing it yourself, it's best to turn off the breaker, especially if you don't know how it was wired. I did most of the wiring for this edition, so I know that all the power is going from switch to switch. So once that switch is off, I know there's no power going to the wire that's inside the wall. And I marked out where the box is going to go for this one. And I took the light here and put the jar on it. We're going to have it hanging down like so, and that way the jar's not going over the mirror. Of course, I'm going to have to fish the wire out because this is my own house, but my wife decided to get these nice tall mirrors, which just makes it a little more difficult. I'll just have to fish the wire out, but it's all looped inside the wall, going around like so, and it goes over to the other side because we got the double sink. And planning is the most important thing. I roughed in the plumbing too. My wife decided to get this extra tall vanity, and normally I'll rough in the drain at 19 inches, but this one I roughed in at 19 inches, and then she got the vanity, and with this drawer down here I had to go up to 24 inches just so the trap wouldn't hit. I could have went 23, but anyways, so if you're doing any remodeling work, make sure you pick out all your materials, have them on site. If a contractor's doing it, make sure he has it done too. And that's about it. And I'm just going to put this box in, and I'll be right back. So here we have the hole cut out for the old work box, and I pulled the wire out with an old piece of cable. This is the old workbox that we're using. I'm gonna cut this in the middle. This one's a feed from the switch. This one's gonna go back out to the other light. And these old workbox, I love them. All you do is just tighten the screw, and these little tabs flip over and get sucked in to the drywall. They're great for projects like this. So I'm going to go ahead, cut that, install the light. Here we have all the wires. The box is in. All the wires are pigtailed. Ready for the light to be installed. Just need to put the support bracket in. And the reason why we have it pigtailed here is because we have the two vanity lights going in. So you want to run the power, tie them all together, run the power together, so that way it continues on to the next light. And like I said, this is for new construction. Old construction might be different. You might have some older cable, aluminum cable, wire. So it's better to get an electrician, but this is what I'm doing to install my vanity lights. Swapping out lights, whole different story. Most homeowners can do it on their own. You just want to make sure you turn the power off and you test to make sure the power's off. That's very important. A job like this, I'd probably call an electrician. At least get him to do the rough wiring and stuff like that. So this is the bracket that's going to go in. We're going to screw this up. right into there, those two holes, and then flip this piece around so that it's even with this, because the holes are on the top and the bottom. So we're going to do that, and there's the brace that's going to support the light fixture. So here we have the light fixture all hooked up. Still have to do the other one, but I'll do that one another time, well, in a little bit. So, you know, these nuts right here tie onto that bracket that you saw. Just square up the bracket, get it so that everything's nice and level. Sometimes with these the bars are crooked and whatnot. Might have to just tweak it a little bit, but that's it. I appreciate you all watching, and take care. So I wasn't going to show anything for the installation of this one, but ran into some interesting stuff. I figured I'd hit the stud, but so I had a hard time snaking out that wire, the insulation and everything. So instead of using the cable which bends and stuff, I found an old coat hanger, untwisted it, made a nice hook, helped me get through the insulation and everything like that. And here, as you can see, there's a vent pipe running right there, and the stud, which was in my way of the square box, the old work box, which I was going to use. So we got to switch over to a little pancake box like this, and I added that one by on the side so that doesn't pull away when I screw it into the stud. Of course, I'm off to use a short screw and go through that nailer, and I'll have to drill through that. But these are some of the things you can run into, especially when you're not planning, stuff like that. I mean, this was done a long time ago, and like I said, none of the materials were really picked out, and you got to listen to the wife. So these are some of the issues that you can run into. But anyways, yeah, those lights are way up there. They're like 87 inches on center. You know, no problem, because the ceiling on this wall is over 10 feet tall. But just some of the things you can run into. And I'm gonna cut this wire down, put the pancake box in, and put the grounding screw in. It's always good to have some extra grounding screws set aside. And this piece here makes it so that the wire will clamp in there, and also it won't get cut on the metal. You won't rip the wire open and then you got issues there. And these are some of the tools that I use. This is a tester. You can test the wire outlet, make sure that there's no power going to it. Flip it on. Lights up. Lets you know the wire's hot. These right here for stripping wires. We got the 14-2. And it's all marked out for you. Pretty basic. Can't really see it with the glare, but 14-2, 12-2. It's basically all you need for most projects. So yeah, this box wouldn't work. Way too deep to end up going through there, end up hitting the vent pipe, horizontal vent pipe up there. And that's about it. I will be back in a minute. Well, this video started running a lot longer than I planned on it. But I'm not going to bore you anymore with my voice or this electrical work, which isn't even my specialty. This is my own house, like I said, and jobs like this, if I do a bathroom remodel, I have a great electrician that I use, and he would do most of this work. Yeah, I might move an electrical box up or down, you know, a little bit, but I try to stay away from that kind of stuff working on other people's houses, because electrical work and plumbing, they're dangerous. I mean, huge liability there. So it's better to have a professional take care of it, but if you're going to do this work in your own house, I think it's better that you actually see something like this, have some type of knowledge of what you're actually doing. And this is the pancake box, all hooked up, ready for the light. You got it screwed to the stud here. I drilled through the nail plate, which protects the vent pipe that's behind here. And over here, the 1x that I put in, I used another screw here, and I only used 3/4 inch deep screws, because that's about all the room I have until that vent pipe. So you can't use much bigger than that. You gotta be careful with these things. And that yellow piece there holds in the wires nice and tight, so it won't back out, come forward anymore. You want to leave about 3/4 of the sheeting there, and then about 6 inches coming out here for your hot, your neutral, and your ground. And that's about it. I appreciate you watching, and I hope, you know, you call a professional if you don't want to go this much into detail, if you don't feel, especially if you don't feel comfortable with it. If you do the work, make sure that you turn the breaker off and you have a live wire tester handy. It's working, the batteries are good, because it's dangerous. But be careful, and you know, like I said, swapping out like an old light fixture for a new one, you might run into some issues there. A lot of times they don't put these boxes in there, especially if your house was built or the job was done originally before 1980, in the 70s and before that. They hardly ever used boxes, even in the 80s. They just run the wire right out of there. So then you'd have to learn how to put the boxes in like I did, and hopefully this helps. Thanks. Just wanted to add in the final hookups here. Got the hot wires all tied up here. The neutral, grounding screw. And that's it. I'm out.